Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today it's another trying to fix video. Another video where I've got something which is faulty and I'm going to do my best to fix it. Now this one is a little bit special because I didn't buy this one, I didn't get this one from eBay, I was sent this one all the way from America. And as soon as I was told about it, I thought, yes, I have to try and fix this. So there's no point in me pretending that you don't know what it is, because obviously you've read the title of the video. In here apparently is a Panasonic 3DO, and it was sent to me by a man called Asher that lives in America, and he watches the videos and he thought that this would make a good video, and I have to agree, I think it will make a good video. Now when he told me about this, I had never even heard of a Panasonic 3DO, and a lot of you might not have heard of it either. So basically it's a games console. It is from the 1990s. I believe in America and Japan it came out in 1993. In Europe it came out in 1994. But from the little bit of research I've done since, it's the company's 3DO, and they basically let the license out to whoever wanted to build it. So this one in here is Panasonic, but I believe there's various different models, but they all play the same game. So for example, if you had a manufacturing company and you thought this might be a good seller, then you could have acquired a license, and I believe the license was cheap, and then you could build it yourself. As well as that, what they did slightly different was, I believe that per game was only, was it $3 or something? It was a very small amount. So they weren't charging a fortune for people who wanted to do their own games. And that is a good thing, but also a bad thing, because I think a lot of the games might not have been very good, because, you know, somebody could have probably done them quite cheaply. But I'm not interested in any of that. The main thing is trying to get this to work again. So I believe it doesn't power on. Now, Asher did used to fix things in the past. He had a load of old games consoles and stuff. And yeah, he very kindly sent this to me, and he didn't want any money for it. So I paid for the shipping. The shipping is obviously expensive because it's heavy and it's coming from America, so the shipping was $85. But he's given me the console, and also he asked me which games I wanted. And when I had a look at the games, I mean, it was things like Dragon's Lair. There was, well, I don't want to spoil it. I want to show you what one of the games was. And I knew as soon as I seen this, I had to get this game, and I have to get this thing working to play this particular game. And as well as that, he said that there's a little surprise in there for me as well. So I haven't got a clue what that is. So I am actually, for me, this is like Christmas. I'm really looking forward to getting into this. Now, I always say this in these videos, but in particular in this one, do not copy what I do here. I have never ever even seen one of these. I've never handled one, I've never turned one on, I've never played one. I certainly haven't taken one apart. So I will probably end up doing damage to it. I will do my best not to, but what you see in this video will probably be the wrong way of doing stuff. As well as that, there's going to be a load of I don't knows in this video, because this is an American system. And obviously their voltage is a lot lower. I believe in America it's 110 volts. Over in the UK we have 240 volts. So I had to buy this step up and step down transformer. So I need to be stepping down the voltage from 240 to 110. So I got this from Amazon for 20, I don't know what it was, 23, 24 pounds. Looks like you move this along here depending on the voltage, so I'm going to keep it in 240. So I'm going to be putting it into here and then plugging this into the UK system, and hopefully then out of here I'm going to be getting 110 volts. Now the other thing I'm not sure about is there's this whole PAL and NTSC thing. Now I knew about that years ago, because I remember when I worked for Kodak a long time ago, they had a video recorder there that could do PAL and NTSC. But I don't know, is it even a thing now on modern TV? So if I plug this into my TV now, is it going to work if this is NTSC and my TV's PAL? Are TVs PAL anymore? I really haven't got a clue. And as well as that, I believe in America it's 50 Hertz and over here is 60 Hertz? Or is it the other way around? Not sure. But, well, I know TVs now are 60 Hertz, but I'm not sure about before in the 90s. So there's going to be a load of things that I don't know in this video. So just take it purely for entertainment and not any type of how-to whatsoever. Right, so that's all the important bits out of the way. Let's get into here and see exactly what I've been sent. So amazingly, this arrived within, I think it was about 4 days or something like that. So I did say to Asher that I'd be doing this in March because I'm going to have a busy February because I'm doing this competition with Steve from Tronics Fix. But I can't wait. When this arrived, I've been sort of arrived yesterday, and the step down transformer arrived today, and I can't hold it off any longer. I need to see what this is about. So now I have to be a little bit careful because I don't know if there's any kind of letter or anything with addresses or anything in here. So let's see now what we have. Oh, brilliant. Right, okay. Oh, there's loads of different things. Let's take it all out and then see. Look at that. How good is that? I used to have this game and I can't remember what it was on. I think it was on the Spectrum, but I don't know if the Spectrum would have been a bit early for this. So it must have been a Spectrum, unless it was on the Sega Master System. But that's going to be good. I'll open up all the games in a minute. Lamb in the Dark. Ford. Perfect General. Alright, so what do we have here? What's this? Oh, what is this about? Ethernet? Do you know, I don't know what... I haven't got a clue what that is. Ethernet port, USB ports. Is that a little SD card reader or something? Micro USB, HDMI. I wonder. It's in a 3D printed case. I don't know what that is. I'm not sure. Maybe that's the surprise. I don't know what that's about. In fact, that must be it. I'll have to ask Asher what that is about, because look, 3.5mm jack as well. I wonder whether this is preloaded with some sort of games or something, kind of like a mini Raspberry Pi. I really haven't got a clue. Obviously a lot of you out there will already know what that is, but I don't know what that is. But that might be interesting. Right, okay. And here we have the 3DO itself. Right, let's open that in a second. Right, we've got the controller here. Okay, and there's another port there, so I believe you piggyback another controller off this. So 3 face buttons there, stop, play and pause, and a couple of shoulder buttons as well. It's always interesting to see new hardware. I mean, I've never seen that before. I didn't even know this existed. Okay, so that's the power cable, which is obviously different than the UK. We got another, this is a big one here, look. Gold Star, right, they were another manufacturer of the 3DO, so I believe as long as they put the logo on it, the 3DO logo, I think they could have made it exactly as they wanted. So I don't know if they had to copy anything, as long as they had the logo on there, because the ones, I'm pretty sure the Gold Star one looks a lot different than this one here. Right, and it looks like we've got another gamepad as well, so that's fantastic. Wow. Right, okay, let's open this up here. I really hope this is fixable. Ah, look at that. There we go. Little push button there. Little catch. Do you know what? I think that's the same catch that I have on my bin lid. Right, so we're going to be using, I'll be using composite out. There's S-Video, so S-Video is going to be a slightly better picture, but then you'd have to do your separate audio out of that. It's got channel select 3 and 4, that must be for the RF out. AC in, power on and off. Let's see what's on the back here. Made in Japan, Panasonic. So this is a FZ10, AC 120 volt, 60 Hertz, 30 watts. Okay, so not a huge amount of wattage. January 1995. Right, okay, let's open up these games. So there's loads. If I do get this working, there's loads of games to choose from. Now these are pretty rare. I don't know about the cost of them, but I know that they are definitely rare. Yes, this is the game. This is the one. Now I've got to get it working. As soon as I've seen that, that is the game I have to show working. Supermodels Go Wild. Check it out. The world's most beautiful models exposed to the world's most beautiful surroundings. I mean, that is just amazing. There you go. Right, so if I get it working, that's going to be the first game that I'm going to play. Loads of games. Out of this world. Right, so it looks like there's a couple of games in there. Apologies, I don't know anything about these games. What's this now? Oh wow, look, this is a... so look. That's interesting. That's absolutely huge. Look at that, it's much bigger than VHS. Cannon fodder. Sure I've heard of this game. That's nice, isn't it, with the instructions down the bottom there. I like that. Okay, Out of This World, so that's the instructions for... Oh, so I see. So originally they probably came in the cardboard boxes, and then, mind you, that's a bit big, isn't it, for the instructions? Unless it just took up the whole thing. And maybe I should put them into these ones here, just because these would have been kind of hard to store because they're so big, and maybe they got damaged and stuff throughout the years. He's packed it really well. Actually, one about these would have been the original games, because otherwise they wouldn't have the inserts here, would they? Let's have a look here a minute. I don't know, unless the inserts were just stored in there. Maybe different countries had different things. Maybe in some countries they were big, some countries they were small, I don't know. Right, well there's certainly plenty of games there, isn't there? That's absolutely amazing. Right, okay, so let's see what's happening with this thing here. I believe he said that it didn't power up. So let's move all this out of the way for the time being so we don't damage anything. So that is obviously the surprise, so I have to find out what this is. Broadcom chip in there. Oh, there we go. Raspberry Pi 2014. I don't know if you can see that. Look through the top slot there. There we go. Right, okay, well, I've never had one of these. I thought about looking into them before, but I kind of got a bit confused with all the different models and stuff they had. But now that I've got one, then there's no excuse now, so I will plug this in. It's perfect as well. I've got a tiny little monitor, haven't I? So I could just plug that into the monitor. This might be a whole new thing for me. So, yeah, I'll have to see. I don't know whether there's anything on this at the moment. But yeah, certainly going to be interesting. Right, let's see what's happening with this here. So we're going to plug this into here. Now I haven't used this step down transformer before, so hopefully it's going to work okay. Right, so we're going to plug that into here. We're in the 240 volt input selector. That's there. It's off at the moment. let's plug it in to begin with. It's got a real strong smell to it, but that's just because it's new. Right, let me turn it on before plugging anything in. Yeah, okay, with the little red lights on it. So now let's plug this into here. I'm thinking it doesn't matter which way round it goes. There we go, that's fully in there. Right, let's power it on and then see if it turns itself on or not. Right, so we've got the on and off thing here. Well, we're on at the moment. Right, so nothing's happening at all. So I'm turning it on, and there's no light or anything coming on it. So I'm assuming that it is completely dead, because surely the ready light should come on when it's been plugged in. Little hole here. I wonder what that's for there. EV expansion. Let's have a look. There we go. Right. Right, well, it doesn't look like there's anything on the cord that's going to be faulty, so let's turn this off for the time being. Let's unplug it. And let's take it apart, and we'll see. I suppose we'll have to measure for voltage around the place. Now I have to be careful here, because obviously I prefer things when they're lower voltage, because then you know the things you're working on is going to be low voltage, but obviously we have high voltage coming in here, hence the reason it says risk of electric shock, do not open. Right, so let's open this up and see what's happening with it. So it looks like there's a, I mean, this has been taken apart before, but it looks like a couple of game bits have been put back in, and a couple of Phillips, and it looks like one's missing there and one's missing there, and one's missing from there as well. I'm just going to get my screwdrivers and stuff set up. Right, okay, so I've got it now on here on the mat, so hopefully you'll be able to see it a little bit better. So let's start with these two here. Now, apparently this was a little bit of a failure, or maybe quite a big failure, and I think part of the reason was because it was so expensive. I think when this came out, I think it was like $600 or $699, something ridiculous. I mean, I don't know how quickly it got reduced, but as well as that, I think everybody was holding out for the PlayStation 1. So this was, as far as I know, unfortunately a failure. But just because it was a failure, it doesn't mean it's not going to make an interesting, video. Right, so let's have a look now. Excellent, that comes off lovely and easy, doesn't it? So there's just a that's just a catch there, and that just presses against here. There. That presses against this little lever here to let this know that the lid is closed. So what we're going to be concentrating on is this top corner here, because this is where the voltage comes in. I have to be really careful. I'll be honest with you, I don't like working on things that are mains voltage. But, oh, look at that, that's disconnected there. That ribbon cable is disconnected. Could it be as simple as that? Hold on now. Well, let's see. Remember, it has been opened up already, so maybe Asher just didn't bother connecting that back up again, because if there was a fault somewhere that he couldn't find. But still, let's just pop the lid back on and just see if that's made any difference at all. Right, let's plug it back in. Imagine that. Right, plug this in. Right, here we go. Turn it on. Look at it! Ready! Access! It says ready and the access thing was on. Let's pop a disc in and let's see if it spins round. Oh my god. Right. Let's now let me, I don't want to ruin that favourite Supermodels disc in case there's some problem with the laser or something. Let's put in another one. For all I know, I could be putting in something that's super rare. Let's see if it spins. Let's turn it this way around so you can see it. Right, here we go. Access. It's spinning. Well, it's certainly doing something. I think we'll have to connect it up to the TV and see. Yeah, okay, well listen, I mean, I don't know whether that's actually working or not, but I wonder, is it safe to just open it or do I turn it off? Let's try and open it. Yeah, there you go, it's definitely spinning. Right, okay. Let's pop it on the TV and let's see what's happening with it. Just take this disc out a second. I'm just going to put a couple of screws back in. Let's just turn that off. If it is all working, tiny bit disappointing that it wasn't more challenging, but at the same time, you know, a fix is a fix. But what we'll do is, if it is working, we'll connect up to the TV and see, because there might be other problems, or even I might just have the problem where I can't connect it to a UK TV. I really don't know. But if it is working, what we'll do is we'll have a look on the inside anyway, take a few things out just to see what it looks like. Right, let me get the camera set up a little bit differently so you'll be able to see a TV. I've got the controller plugged in. There's only one port, hence the reason you have to piggyback off the controller, which is quite unusual. And I've got the AV cable going from the back here straight into the AV input. So you know the composite, the yellow, white and red. So let's see now what happens when it's plugged into the TV. So let's turn that on again. And let's turn it on here. Something's happening. Now would it be? Yes, so it can display it. Now slightly worried because actually I wouldn't have taken it apart if there wasn't a problem with it. So I'm a little bit confused because obviously the ribbon cable wouldn't just pop out, would it? Unless it was dropped. I suppose there's a chance that it could have popped out if it was dropped. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, it's reading it. It's lovely seeing something for the first time. And it's such a shame in life how something can be so popular, like, you know, the PlayStation 1, and then something else can be such a failure. And you know, was it down to the hardware, or was it down to just, for example, the games that came out for it, or was it down to price? You know, if this was £200 less, would it have been, you know, would it have conquered the world? It's kind of weird, isn't it? How sometimes things do really well, and then other things are complete and utter failures. Right, well that's certainly working, isn't it? Sound and everything. Right, so
an ordinary young man who lives
sounds good.
in a peaceful village. One day, he saves an old man who was nearly dying.
You need to remember that this is, you know, from the mid-1990s.
Of the world, who disguises himself as an old man so that he can travel the world in secret.
We just seen that bit, didn't we? Maybe I have to... Maybe that's the problem. Hold on. It doesn't help when I don't understand the game. Oh, sorry, did I have to duck out? That was... Oh, right, okay. I think I'm understanding now. I was supposed to press down so I wasn't crushed by the big hands. Right, okay. It's obviously one of these sort of games, right. Just going to fast forward until we get to the same bit again. Right, so I have to press down. Oh, there we go, and now left. No? Oh, I missed it. Not sure what I have to do there. Right, maybe this isn't a game. This isn't a game for me. Maybe I should be trying something else. Right, okay. So yeah, that's that one. Maybe what we'll do now is let's take a look inside the actual console itself, and then we can do the Supermodels game that I promised you. Right, okay. Let's turn this off, and I get the camera set up again. Right, so let's pop the back off again. We'll have a good look around it. I also need to clean the ports here, because when I was putting these on and off, I could actually see like the kind of like chalkiness. Can you see there's like a ring of chalkiness down at the bottom? So I need to give them all a clean. So obviously they've just become a bit oxidised over the years. Right, so let's see what we've got here then. Right, okay, so I just undid the screws around the outside, and then the hardest things to get off was these two black plastic things from here and here. It's just held on, this one here and this one here. And the reason it's hard is because if you have a look at these, you can see there's a kind of pointed arrow at the end. So basically these go right the way through, and they clip into one of the holes at the bottom there. So in that hole there and that hole here, it's just basically, if you imagine two bits of plastic and then this arrow's coming up, and because it's got a point at the end of it, once it goes through the plastic it can't come back out. So in order to get it out, you have to get a very small flathead screwdriver and twist the plastic apart and then pull it from the top, and then they will come out. So basically, if you can imagine, it's like that with the nails. So you need to get a screwdriver in here and then twist it open. It's very fiddly, and then once you've twisted it open, you can pull it from the top and then it will come out. So that's how you get them out there. So what I want to do is, I noticed it was a little bit noisy, so I just want to put a little bit of grease on the tracks. So I just want to put some grease in this bit here, and also this bit here as well. This side looks a little bit dry. I can see some grease down here. And then I'm just going to clean up the lens with some IPA cleaner as well. Now let's have a little look in here. Give you guys a close look at it. So you can just skip this bit if you want, but I'm just going to show you each of the chips. Right, okay, so that's all cleaned up. So now I look back at the original message from Asher just to see, you know, what, just to remind myself what was wrong. And basically he said originally he offered me the 3DO and also an original Xbox as well. Problem with the Xbox is it weighs an absolute ton, and I can pick one of them up for £10 over here. No problem, every day of the week, so it seemed a bit pointless sending that all the way from America because it would cost more. But I asked him, you know, did he test it, because obviously if he couldn't fix it, then I would be unlikely to. Now I read back the message. He said that he used to mod arcade systems in the past. He said I did open up the 3DO and Xbox. I believe the Xbox has a hard drive issue, but we're not interested in that. It says, as for the 3DO goes, I opened it up, I tested it with my multimeter. It looks to be a power issue on the power board. So here, it won't turn on, used to work. So there is a chance that he didn't notice that this was disconnected, but I'm not sure. See, that means that this would have had to become disconnected, you know, naturally. And the thing is, given this a wobble now, it really is in there very tight. So I think that might be unlikely. So maybe with this one here, there might be an intermittent fault with it. Or maybe because it hasn't been used in so long, it's working fine now. But I might start using this, and then maybe after a few hours or a couple of days, the problem might come back. In which case, if it does, then that's fine. I will then do the repair video on it then. I mean, all I can go on is what I've been told and what I've seen today. And what I've seen today was that the ribbon cable wasn't pushed in. Pushed the ribbon cable in, and now it appears to be working absolutely fine. But that's not to say that there's not another problem. What might have happened is maybe Asher disconnected this ribbon cable to do the testing, and then when he couldn't get an output out of this or something, he might not have bothered reconnecting it because maybe he was going to come back to it and then never got around to it. Bit weird how it's working now. Could it be something to do with a different voltage? You know, maybe this is pushing through, for example, 120 volts or something, and maybe that's enough, or maybe it's pushing through 125, and maybe that's enough to make it work. I really don't know. But as I say, if it goes faulty again, I'll happily take this apart and look at it in the future. I mean, I can see that there's a fuse here, and that fuse looks to be intact. Let's just quickly go across it here. I mean, obviously the fuse is there to protect the circuit, isn't it? So if it was blown, then it shouldn't work. But let me just double check that. Yeah, so I don't know. I really don't know if this is going to be a lasting repair, or whether the problem's just going to reoccur. We'll have to just play that one by ear. But anyway, yeah, that's all cleaned up now. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to try to clean up this little thing just a little bit. It's already very clean, but I'm just going to put a wet wipe over it, then some tissue just to give it a bit of a wipe. Right, okay, so there we have it. One Panasonic 3DO FZ10. And yeah, it came in really good nick. I've just wiped it over, but it was already in really good condition. There's a few little scratches just on the top here, but it's a nice looking console. Right, now bad news about that game. I had a look at it. Now what you need to remember is a lot of my viewers are young, and it does say here, notice it says AO, so in the UK we have it down as 18, but here it says adults only. So now I don't want to disappoint you lot, but what I'm going to do is I will play it, but I'll maybe pause it on a suitable bit, because obviously this game mustn't be suitable for children, which is understandable because it does say Supermodels Go Wild. Right, okay, so that's it. I'm just going to connect up to the TV now, and I'll do a quick safe bit of this one, and then we'll try and play one of the other games. Right, so here we have it, the infamous Supermodels Go Wild. And remember I said earlier on in the video that the licensing was quite cheap for this, that the 3DO only charged whatever it was, $3 or something per game, and a lot of games were pretty bad. Well, this is one of them. It is AO for adults only, but from the little bit that I've seen, it's just women going around in bikinis, just on a yacht and just on a push bike. So yeah, I'll just show you a quick minute of it. You're really not missing out on anything. Basically, this is pretty much it. So it's just like what you would see in a pop music video, really. So she goes along, she meets a few friends, they go onto a yacht, and they're in bikinis. That's about it. So you're really not missing out on anything. But still, the novelty of it is pretty interesting. Right, let's actually try to play a game that I might understand a little bit of. Okay, so here we have Dragon's Lair. Now, I definitely had this one as a child, but if I'm honest with you, I can't really remember it. So I've been mucking around with it and I can't seem to get past the third screen. But basically what it is you don't really move the character around as such. He does the moving, and then you just have to do an input at the correct time. So for example, if we start the game, he'll start walking across the bridge, he will fall through, and then I have to get the sword out and then press up shortly afterwards, and it's just more to do with timing. So I fell through, wait till they get close, do the sword, and then press up. Yeah. Now if I didn't do that, they would have grabbed me, then I would die. And then on this one here again, I'm not doing anything, but when the roof caves in, when that door opens, I need to go to the right. There you go, yeah. And now you've escaped that screen. Now on this one here, I'm not really sure what I have to do on this one. So it says drink me, but every time I drink it, I get poisoned. And the fire came from that side, so I'm thinking I've got to move to the right again. That must be too slow. Let me do the drink me. Right, so obviously it wasn't that. It must be going to the right. Ah, there you go. So did you get the idea? So it's all to do with timing. So I know it might seem like it's a boring game, but when I was younger, I really liked this game. Because you had to solve each screen. There you go, dead. But yeah, obviously you're going to expect a lot more from games nowadays. But you know, that was a game that was out, and I believe it's been released for the Switch very recently. So I don't know whether they've done anything different with it, or whether it's the same sort of thing. So yeah, I'm going to go through these games now and see what they're like. But as far as the system's concerned, it's definitely an interesting one, isn't it? I know it wasn't popular, but just little things, that the fact that the controllers piggyback on each other, and then if you have a look here, it's going to piggyback again onto the next one. I don't know whether there's any games out there where you can play 3 or 4 players, but it's a novelty, isn't it? Seeing that, I've never seen that before. So yeah, I think it's kind of fun. Now, as far as the fix was concerned, I do wish it was a bit more challenging, but that was the fix. Now, I am thinking that maybe there's some other underlying issue here. I mean, the little bit of testing I've done, it all seems to be working fine. But maybe after extended use, maybe something will go in here. I don't know with the power board, I really don't know. But at this moment in time, it's all working absolutely perfectly. And to me, just a quick look that I did on the capacitors and stuff, they don't seem to be leaking or anything. It all looks absolutely immaculate in there. So yeah, I mean, obviously a successful fix, but a very easy one at that. Still not quite sure how that ribbon cable managed to fall out. That's what makes me think there might be some other issue with this. But I'm going to be testing out these games, so if it fails again, well, that's absolutely fine, because that will be another video on it. So yeah, what I have to do now is I have to get my head around this little Raspberry Pi and see what this is about. I'm quite looking forward to testing out that and learning a little bit about that now. So yeah, massive thanks to Asher. Thanks so much for sending all this stuff out to me and giving me the opportunity to do this video. I really do appreciate it, so big thumbs up to you. And for the rest of you, thanks so much for watching it. If you did like it, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe for more Trying to Fix videos. Take care, bye now.